react on them at any given moment. So the key is teaching players the principles behind the actions. This is what I said. This is why we pay most of our attention at the preseason. We want to teach our players the principles of any decision they're going to make. By understanding the why behind each cut, screen, or spacing read, your team will be harder to guard and easier to coach. So that's why we know if defense does this, we have to react like that. If defense gives us that, we have to do this. This is something we built in the preseason. Now, a good offense with multiple options includes the following. A foundational structure. This provides the basic spacing of an alignment. In this kind of offense, we don't change our initial alignment every time. We have a structured alignment. Players know their starting positions, and we get into our flow offense and our options from there. A variety of offensive options. These are the triggers that players can use to create advantages. So in every concept, as we said, we give as many options as possible. And as you will see later on the slides where we will show some concepts, we see when we use the same structure, the same initial positions, even against the zone offense. Because sometimes defenses, during the defense, start changing their formation and they call zone and man, and players get so confused. So we keep the same concept against zone defense as well. It also has the ability to read and react. Players must be able to identify defensive coverages and choose the appropriate offensive response. What happens if the defense goes over that screen, under that one, how we react on the next counter. So players are prepared in the preseason and they are ready to read and react all this in all these situations. Okay, let's go over our initial spacing now. This is the initial set we have, so we can start running our offense with multiple options. We can call it whatever we want. Let's say the initial positions is we got 2 players high and 3 players next to the baseline. We got our 1 and our 4 high. We have our 5 opposite our 4-man, and we have 2 guards on the corners. The first option, the first concept that we start running is by setting a ghost screen. Also, ghost screens are another new trend the last few years to break the defense balance, so the ball handler can attack or create an advantage. So we set the first ghost screen from 4 to 1, and at the same time, we set a flare. It's a fake flare screen in this situation. It's a fake flare screen. They just interchange from our 5, while 1 is dropping a handoff to the 2 guard on the opposite corner. Our 3 already went through from the right corner, so we got 4 on the right corner and our 3 guards at the opposite side. After the handoff, we have a quick ball screen with the flow, and we are ready to attack from that. Okay, we got one more slide here so we can see our first counter. It's sometimes defense, when they get caught behind, they try to slide under the screen, so they are in front of the ball handler. We use their screen. Our first counter is the 45 cut. We always use this 45 cut when we go towards the side of the 2 players in any ball screen action. And from there, we can either pass to the cutter, we can either pass to the corner, we can either pass to the big guy. It depends. So we try with the guys, with my guys. I have to be thankful because I got them there out of practice hours, so they could help us prepare at least a few clips for this clinic. So let's see the initial lineup. sorry, as you can see, we got 2 players up top and we got 3 players down low. We're starting with 1 here and the 4, setting the ghost screen, the flare, and then we continue. Okay, let's go. Let's see the video. That's a ghost screen. We have the flare. That's a handoff, and then we attack, and we got easy layup, easy drive, because a big guy is on the move, on the run, try to cover one side, try to cover the other side. That's the first option we usually get the first time we try to attack. Second option here we got after the handoff. It's the same way on. Let me go to the next one. Okay, let's see. Second one is usually the feed to the big guy. Big guy tries to help. We have the quick dive. A feed to the big guy is the next option. We can get out of this option. Third look. That's why we said defense goes under. Defender goes under. Here you see there is screen, and we got this 45 cut every time. Now you will see 2 options. 2 options we can have of this cut. If the defense, like here, is ready to jump to the ball and pack, we have a cut behind the defense that's an easy fit for a layup. Second time we'll try to do that. Defense will probably read that of that help, there was a backdoor cut and a layup, and the corner player usually will sink in to help and take this cutter. Under the screen, we see the cutter. You see this guy is ready to react because previous possession, this guy got a layup. So this guy is ready to react under the basket and help. We got the corner player lifting 1 step, and that gives us an open shot from the corner. So immediately we can see with just one set and 1 option, we got so many counters going on.
So ball goes down, then they shift on the other side. Guy who is on the bottom, he's responsible for this pass. If it's a skip pass, this guy from the bottom, he goes up, and he is responsible that Street doesn't take easy shot. That's how he defends 3-point shot. And he always says, my zone is designed not only against the low post, not only against the penetration, but it's also designed against those skip passes and 3-point shots for the other opponent. So wing from the weak side goes as ball leaves the low post area. He flies to the guy who is on the top on the other side, and he is doing closeout and challenge his shot. That's basically how they do their exercise against the skip passes, against the, shifting the ball from one side to another. That's another story. What we have to do by knowing Coach Beheim philosophy, we have to learn how to move whenever ball moves to the other side. That's the story. We never, when we play zone, we guard the space. Space is not good to be guarded unless you move with a player. All 4 players move when ball moves from one place to another. So If some player gets the ball, he cannot be alone. He has to have a fire on himself, and he has to try to score or to dribble over the guy who is already near him. And even if he goes by him, that becomes man-to-man offense. That is not anymore a zone offense. And that's how good coaches and teams take advantage out of man-to-man defense. They basically do man-to-man with the zone principles. The most important thing is avoid short, direct passes, because short and direct pass would make you get easy score on your side. You have to make them extend their passing lane, and you have to make them do skip passes, lob passes, or bounce passes, which gives chance to defense to move in appropriate way together with the ball and to be there when ball comes. That's why Syracuse zone defense is good. Of course, challenging the outside shooter is number one topic. And even if player is not a great shooter, he is a good passer. So we cannot allow opponent to create some, how to say, defense or some offense where they would have easy pass, when they would find easy player to have outside shot. Everything has to be moved as ball is moving, and we can use two things. We can move beyond the guy and play help side defense, weak side, help side zone with man-to-man principles, or we can double defense. We can play traps, and traps could be spontaneous. What does that mean, spontaneous? Which means in some area, such as, for example, short corner, a long corner. So you see, short, long, you can move the guy from the top and guy here from the bottom, and you can make trap. Then you're killing the time on them to get out of trap. And when they get out of trap, they have to find the open guy. That gives them chance to steal the ball. That gives them chance to do some other offensive plays out of their defense and to have fast break and score. When we talk about this kind of defense, it's also very important that under no circumstances we allowed high post pass. So this is the guy, if ball is here, this guy here turns the back to the free throw line, and he spreads himself. He extends his arms, and he basically, by the vision, don't let the player to think that high post can get the ball. And this is how people from the top line defend their hoop. Again, who is taking the wing pass? we send the inside, we send those three guys from the bottom. Those two wings, we send them to the top to bother pass. Then if other guy from the top goes to the ball, then this guy, either way, he goes down back, wing, or they can also make, under the 45-degree free throw extension, they can also make here and here double defense. They can make a double defense and they can make offense suffer against that kind of play. So we can now say spontaneous traps, and you will see that here in that movie, they have also double defense by two guards from the top. I will show that later. First, we have spontaneous traps. When we have spontaneous traps, that's usually short corner, always, sometimes corner, and sometimes under the 45-degree on wings, you can also do, if two players are already there, no need that one player now go back and play zone without trap. You already came to the ball. Why you would now go back, make a trap, and make life difficult for the offense? Especially we know there are many offensive players who don't know to play. They don't know to play against the traps because they like to consume the ball, to have the ball in their hands all the time, and that is obviously not a good way for them to hurt the defense.
So what is completely wrong? Completely wrong if you are copying totally pick and roll offenses from the net and doing beside of it player developments, not doing player development, not doing finishes, not doing technical and tactical corrections, and you will have confusion on the court and your players will have performance under how they're possible. What is the good methodology about everything? Well, preparing good pick and roll offense is that you need to create your pick and roll offense depending on the quality and the characteristics of the players. What is the most important thing when you are supposed to prepare your pick and roll offense? You can copy pick and roll offenses also from other people, from other clubs, other coaches, but you need to make adjustments because you not have the same players, maybe like that team. And develop your players, different passes for the ball handler, different finishes for the ball handler and the screener, different screens. About this I will talking going on video also. And you should need to teach your ball handler and the screener how to read, and this you need to put with individual and group tactics. Types of pick and roll. Now I will showing a lot of diagrams. I will be talking about faster, as maybe you have more time for questions. Where types of pick and roll we can put by place, by classification, and by variation. First of all is high top and pick and roll. So, for example, high pick and roll, you should need to play always little higher. So I like very much to play, for example, high pick and roll. Even sometimes I'm asking from my ball handler, I want to play it from 10 meters, for example. And just to know that all of the diagrams, what you see, you will see it will be prepared like examples and also drills how you can develop your player. So, for example, high pick and roll, I'm enjoying to play, for example, against a team who has a lazy center. What I mean a lazy center. So, for example, wants to play drop, wants to wait the player on the three-pointer line. High pick and roll, we are playing high pick and roll. If the screen is efficient, we are going 2-on-1. Even the ball handler can go through on the big player, and the other teammate big player just cutting inside. So you can see on the first diagram, for example, one high pick and roll and high and top pick and roll. We would love to play in the middle if it is possible. Usually you can see that position 5, player 5 is giving the inside ball screen for player 1, and you can see what kind of possibilities player one has for passes. And you can see, for example, immediately for drills. And after the drills, also I'm showing for you some of more examples about every kind of pick and roll offenses. You can see, for example, that player 5 is giving a flare screen for player 2. Player 2 receives the ball, and how receive the ball? Player 5 immediately giving an inside ball screen, and you can see that position 2, for example, can make a pass for player 5 who rolls inside to finish, and after immediately player 2 can receive the ball from player 4, and also player 1 can receive the ball from player 3. For example, in the third diagram, what you can see, this is like, for example, you can ask me why player 3 is giving a pass for player 1. That is why, because maybe player 2 from that kind of system is possible to make it out for player 1. And of course, every finish should need to be like you are playing 5-on-5. So for example, doesn't matter player 1 gets the ball or player 5 gets the ball or player 2 gets the ball. You can finish, for example, with catch and shoot. You can finish with a strong drive, but you can finish layup, power layup, floater, how you want. So everything what you have in the player development, you are giving and you are asking from your players. You can see, for example, so just to know, some examples will be, for example, from NBA and EuroLeague, for example. You can see again, first diagram here. You can see very easily now the screener is now going for flare, so he is opening for pick and pop for shoot. Also on the other side, just on the opposite side is opening, and also you can see on the third diagram differently standing the players, and now player 4 is rolling inside. Of course, you can have always different finishes. I will showing for you sometimes very simple finishes, but you can put which player where cuts, which player is going, for example, for off-ball screen. For example, you can see on the fourth diagram, for example, player 5 is going for a roll, and you can see, for example, flip on the fifth, and also you can see slip screen, for example, on the sixth diagram. So slip screen that we are making the screen without contact. Sometimes can finish the ball handler, sometimes can finish the player who is rolling different. And you can see you need to teach your players for every kind of role. Of course, you will not have players who knows slip, flip, and that they will be very good in everything. But you need in youth category to start and until when they are very young as senior player to teach. And maybe the head coach of the senior team later will say, hey, from you, I want this and this. You can see, for example, Spain pick and roll from high top pick and roll. So you can see that player 1 gets a screen from player 2. He is flare making because player 5 is making an off-ball screen for player 2 who is opening. And you can see that, for example, on the second diagram, player 2 can, for example, receive the ball. And for example, player 5 can give immediately another inside ball screen. And you can see the possibilities that player 2 can give the ball for player 5 who is rolling inside. And again, player 1 and player 2 will receive the ball from player 3 and 4, like it would be, for example, a kick out. You can see also on the third diagram something different, that there is the other finish, and also you can see different passes on the fourth diagram. I will going little faster because we can finish because I have around 40 diagrams in the video also to show for you, but you can see everything, and even you can make screenshot and you can download the video about what you are interested. Next one is side pick and roll. Well, if we are talking about side pick and roll, we have to say first we would love to play pick and roll on the empty side. So you can see in the first diagram that on the left side is only player 1 and player 5. And we should love to make always a triple side. What is on the off-ball side? You can see on the right side there is player 4, 3, and 2. coming a normal inside ball screen, and you can see that player 1 can make the pass for player 5 who is rolling inside, player 4 who is moving to directional ball, or pick out for player 3 and player 2. We can see now side pick and roll on the next diagrams. On the white diagrams, you can see on the first, you can see that there is a player 4 who is receiving 2 off ball screens and moving and making an inside ball screen for player 1, and also player 2 receiving 2 off ball screens and moving up. And you can see also different finishes. So you should need to teach depending on the level. So you can see, for example, if you have a team who is not so from high level, or they are not so much educated, you need to play something simple, because anyway you will make confusion. Just if you have really very good educated team, then you can play something more specific, something more complicated. But my experience is that the players can be changed. For example, I remember that sometimes with senior teams I started with very simple movements, very simple offenses, and they were so much hungry about it, and they wanted so much to learn from basketball that maybe after 3, 4, 5 months, I was training them like I was training a team from a much better league, from a much better level.